I've mentioned Stu Peters before. I don't know if you guys know who this guy is, but as far as I know, I think he's on either One America News Network or he's on iHeartRadio at the very least. He has a podcast. He's actually all over the fucking place. And I think he's on either One America News Network or Newsmax, one of the two. Anyways, he's got this talk show, basically, Tucker Carlson style show. And he says some pretty nutty stuff. He had Deanna Lorraine on recently, and I figured we'd give this a watch and see what he had to say for himself. Check this guy out.
I have to address this pink elephant in the room. So you were attacked last evening by this radical left wingnut insurrectionist sympathizer group called Right Wing Watch.
Wait a minute. Insurrectionist sympathizer group? How is Right Wing Watch an insurrectionist sympathizer group? Wouldn't that be the Republicans? Because a real fucking insurrection took place that Republicans did. Like, Trump supporters enacted this whole fucking insurrection. And this guy is claiming that Right Wing Watch is an insurrectionist supporting group? Where is this coming from? We're 9 seconds into this clip and it's getting fucking bizarre. Let's keep watching.
Group called Right Wing Watch. I've never heard of them before. But last evening, they attacked you. They published that when you referred on this show to the push for this experimental mRNA injection that's causing documented miscarriages, abnormal vaginal bleeding.
No, not true. None of these things are true.
Menopausal women are reporting getting periods.
Menopausal women are reporting getting periods. He obviously doesn't understand how the human body works at all, if he's even saying that.
Bleeding. Menopausal women are reporting getting periods. Women are bleeding from their eyes.
Women are bleeding from their eyes. My God, I have to stop pausing every 3 seconds, but just the shit coming out of his mouth is fucking weird.
Kids, for crying out loud, are dying of heart attacks and so on. You rightly compared this jab to the Holocaust. You said it's the work of Satan. The group then, of course, felt that their need to be the attention whores that they are. They referred to you as a, quote, QAnon conspiracy theorist.
Deanna Lorraine is QAnon, or at the very least was. I don't know if she still carries that banner or not, but she at the very least was QAnon. How can she possibly be upset with somebody accurately describing her as QAnon?
I just wanted to give you the opportunity to address that.
Oh, yeah. Well, first of all, Right Wing Watch has been hot on my trail since about a year ago when I started running my campaign against Nancy Pelosi. So they came out of the woodwork and they started following me.
I'm not really sure what the point was of her saying that. Is she implying that they're in bed with, like, big Democrat or something? Like, they didn't come after her because she ran against Nancy Pelosi. They, and I, rightly came after her, or criticized her anyways, for being completely fucking delusional. Really. Some of the shit she says is way fucking out there. She's trying to find land where she is. Nobody can fucking see her from where she's standing. She is so far out there.
Started following me. And you know what? You have to take it as a badge of honor, because when they're stalking you and they're lingering and lurking on your YouTube lives every day and your live streams every day, all just to write something hot off the press about you, you got to just take it as a compliment.
Yeah.
Because there they are. And you're also giving them a little bit too much credit. I'm pretty sure it's just like a 45-year-old man living in his mommy's basement.
I love how they got this stock footage of some guy eating popcorn. That's fucking hilarious. No, Right Wing Watch is actually run by professionals. I believe Kyle Mantilla is one of their writers and editors. And then there's somebody named Montgomery, I think. I forget. I know some people who know them, basically, but I don't know them personally. But anyways, they're not 45-year-olds sitting in their mom's basement. I'm not even sure why she would suggest such a thing. It's a legitimate, full-blown, large organization that brings in a lot of revenue every year and does a lot of good work.
And living in his mommy's basement that's writing this up every day and stalking people like us, calling us QAnon tards. That's
no. Nobody in my realm would ever call somebody a QAnon tard. Like, no major public figures like myself or like Right Wing Watch, because that's a callback to the R word. And as far as I know, Right Wing Watch and myself and many other influencers like that don't believe in using that word. Nobody would ever allude to them being quote unquote QAnon tards. That's not the kind of thing that I or Right Wing Watch would do. Oh, and also another thing, people in my sphere, like myself, Right Wing Watch, Hemant Mehta, and other people like that who talk about these types of things, not only would we use something so closely linked to the R word like that, we also try not to insult people. Or I, at the very least, try not to insult people. I will point out that they are completely wrong and seem to be totally out of their heads and conspiratorial and seemingly delusional and things like that. But I don't call them idiots. I don't call them names. No ad hominems. I don't do that shit. I have said those things on stream when the final clip goes out to YouTube and the audio podcast and everything. I cut all insults out. I do not believe in insulting people. Sometimes insults slip out by mistake. I just get heated in the moment, but I eventually cut that shit out because I don't believe in that. That's not my goal. My goal isn't to insult people or hurt people. I don't want to hurt anybody. I just want to point out the crazy shit that's happening. That's it.
QAnon tards. That's pretty much what this is.
Yeah.
And of course, they target, this is the same people, Media Matters. You know, these are Soros-owned, Chinese-owned, turds, basically. That.
Wait, Soros-owned, Chinese-owned? Hang on, let me step back on this.
This is the same people, Media Matters. You know, these are Soros-owned, Chinese-owned.
No. What is she? She's saying Right Wing Watch is owned by China and or George Soros? Anytime I hear the name George Soros, I immediately think anti-Semitism. It's like this big Jewish conspiracy, like Jews control the media and all that stuff. Maybe that's not what she intended. I don't know. But every fucking time I hear somebody talking about Soros, it's like a neo-Nazi. You know, it's always some extremist in some really extreme message board talking about how George Soros is, he secretly controls the Federal Reserve and he is making all this money and paying people to do all these crazy things. It's nuts.
Turds basically that just go out and they smear people. It's one big smear operation.
No, it's not a smear because it's accurate. The things that they're describing are accurate and they are not insults. This is the original tweet. QAnon conspiracy theorist Deanna Lorraine. That's a descriptor. Now, I know she could take issue with conspiracy theorist, that title. I'm going to say that's not an ad hominem. That's not an attack. That's a description of her beliefs. The things that she believes are conspiracies. And she's a QAnoner. She believes in this. This is not inaccurate. So I can't take issue with this first line. Warns that the effort to get people vaccinated is a modern-day Holocaust. That is a quote from Deanna Lorraine. If she didn't want people reporting it, why did she say it? Complains that it's teaching people to trust science instead of their guts, and says it's all the work of Satan. She said those things. Those are accurate descriptions of her positions and what she said. If she doesn't like people reporting this, don't say it. I'm not understanding here. These aren't insults. These aren't attacks. These are descriptions of your actions. This isn't slander or smearing.
Well, when this guy paused his video game or had to change remotes,
They really want to lay into the idea that Right Wing Watch is a single guy and he's a fat, lazy slob who lives in his mom's basement. Like, they are desperate to portray him that way. I don't get it. It's an inaccurate depiction anyways. These people are professionals and I know them I know who they are, and there are a lot of people involved in Right Wing Watch, not just one guy.
This guy paused his video game or had to change remotes, maybe change his diaper after urinating himself on the couch. He also called me an anti-vaxxer. I mean, this is completely false. It's totally slanderous and defamatory. I'm not at all. I'm not at all an anti-vaxxer.
Oh, no, you're not, Stu Peters? Okay, well, let's just listen to the first 15 seconds of this video one more time, shall we?
Documented miscarriages, abnormal vaginal bleeding. Menopausal women are reporting getting periods. Women are bleeding from their eyes. Teenage kids, for crying out loud, are dying of heart attacks, and so on. You rightly compared this jab to the Holocaust.
None of those things are true. At all. That's completely made up about the vaccine. Is that not anti-vax? You are making up conspiracy theories about the vaccine to scare people out of getting it. What's pro-vax about that? I don't understand. How can you sit here and say they smeared you as an anti-vaxxer and in the same fucking clip talk about, just make shit up, make up nonsense about things that are happening from the vaccine that absolutely are not true at all. This isn't the only clip I wanted to look at. There's actually another. Check this one out. This one is from May 24th. Last one we watched was from May 6th, 2021. So this one's May 24th. Let's give this one a watch.
It'll be an easy way to keep these dirty, morbidly obese, disease-infested scum mentally challenged and...
Okay, so the people he's talking about here, they must be really, really terrible people, right, to deserve these level of insults, what he's doing here. Do you know who he's talking about? People who wear masks in public. That's who he's talking about. Give this one another listen.
It'll be an easy way to keep these dirty, morbidly obese, disease-infested scum mentally challenged and socially ill people away from us, because you'll be able to see them from a distance and then, treat them as the real thing to fear, because that would be what I would really be fearful of, if anything, is that I'm walking amongst people like this.
Right, you're right. They're the real lepers. And they need to be treated as such.
Why demonize masks? Honestly, I do not get it. I don't understand the thought process behind this. It's a piece of fucking cloth. Why are you so dead set on not only not wearing one yourself, but shaming others who want to wear one and calling them morbidly obese, socially ill, mentally ill?
Dirty, morbidly obese, disease-infested.
Okay, dirty, morbidly obese, disease-infested. I wear a mask. I'm not morbidly obese. I'm not dirty. I'm not disease-infested. This is fucking nutty. Where is this guy's head? Really? She's upset, and so is he, that they're being shamed for not wearing one. So they're going out there and demonizing and attacking, viciously attacking people for wearing masks. This is exactly how stochastic terrorism starts. Check out this Tucker Carlson clip. They sound just like him.
Purely a sign of political obedience, like Kim Il-sung pins in Pyongyang. We wear them because we have to.
He's literally comparing wearing a mask to living in North Korea under a dictatorship. That is shameful to make that comparison. It's an embarrassment.
The only people who wear masks voluntarily outside are zealots and neurotics. How neurotic are they? Well, we know. A Pew survey from last March found that 64% of white Americans who classify themselves as liberal or very liberal have been diagnosed with an actual mental health condition.
Now he's claiming that people who are opposed to him are mentally ill. This is a common attack, a common propaganda technique that people use to claim that their opponents are mentally ill. I see this kind of thing all the time. Jehovah's Witnesses do this exact shit. And that's actually why we should really be very careful about making any kind of medical diagnoses or even using medical terms to describe people that we're talking about. Like, saying they're narcissistic or saying that they're delusional. Really, those are medical terms, and we really probably shouldn't be using them against people. We certainly shouldn't be claiming that they have clinical delusion or clinical narcissism. I've done that before. I've said those things before. We should probably try to avoid that kind of thing. Let's keep listening to Carlson here.
And you see them everywhere when you walk down the street in any major city. If you dare to go on foot from Union Station to the Capitol, for example, in Washington without wearing a mask, angry Biden voters will snort at you in judgment. How could you? They're saying from behind the gauze. How could you? That's the question we should be asking of them in return. The rest of us should be snorting at them first. They're the aggressors. It's our job to brush them back and...
They're the aggressors by wearing a mask? In this fictional land that he's building here, he's kind of claiming that Biden supporters, quote unquote, all sneer at him when he doesn't wear a mask and say, "How could you?" Thus turning them into the aggressors. But he's conflating two fictional situations here. The two fictional situations he's conflating is one where they actually go up to him and talk to him and say, "How could you?" And the other is where they're just simply wearing a mask. By conflating those two and saying they're the aggressors, he's implying that they're the aggressors simply by wearing a mask and nothing else. It gets worse. Keep listening.
And restore the society we were born in. So the next time you see someone in a mask on the sidewalk or on the bike path, do not hesitate. Ask politely but firmly, "Would you please take off your mask?"
Encouraging people to shove themselves into other people's lives. Encouraging them to force themselves into somebody's personal space and violate their privacy effectively.
Science shows there is no reason for you to be wearing it. Your mask is making me uncomfortable.
It's inaccurate that science shows that, quote unquote. Science does not show that. Science shows the efficacy of masks over and over again, and that's why surgeons wear them when they work on your knee and stuff like that.
We should do that, and we should keep doing it until wearing a mask outside is roughly as socially accepted as lighting a Marlboro in an elevator. It's repulsive. Don't do it around other people.
Yeah, except when you're smoking a cigarette, you are getting secondhand smoke all over everything. When you're wearing a mask, you're not affecting the other people's lives in any way, shape, or form.
That's the message we should send because it's true. As for forcing children to wear masks outside, that should be illegal. Your response when you see children wearing masks as they play should be...
Here you go. You guys ready for the stochastic terrorism part? It's already kind of approached stochastic terrorism roughly, where he was saying when you see somebody wearing a mask, you should go up to them and harass them. That's already bordering on stochastic terrorism. Now it's getting real. Keep listening.
Be no different from your response to seeing someone beat a kid in Walmart. Call the police immediately. Contact Child Protective Services. Keep calling until someone arrives. What you're looking at is abuse. It's child abuse, and you are morally obligated to attempt to prevent it.
Wearing a mask is child abuse. This guy doesn't understand the meaning of the term, if he really believes this. And this is a prime example of stochastic terrorism. Demonizing somebody or something to such a point that somebody somewhere in his audience is going to take matters into their own hands and do something violent. Can't predict who or where or when, but if you demonize something enough, you scream about it enough, and get people riled up into this crazy blood frenzy and tell people they should do something about it, like he's saying right here, saying you should do something about it, which is call the police and don't let them leave until the police show up. That's stochastic terrorism. That's a false report, first of all. That's filing a false police report. And it's stochastic terrorism. These people are obsessed with hating masks, and I absolutely don't get it. The words that they're saying right now are going to lead to somebody genuinely getting hurt. That is the nature of stochastic terrorism. Let's watch the next clip from Stu Peters.
They have been able to take over the entire media. They have caused a mass exodus of good police officers that are there for the right reason. They have started the indoctrination of your kids with...
I would love to know who this guy thinks are good cops. I would love to sit down with him and say, just describe a good cop who's there for the right reasons to me. Tell me the type of things that they do. What qualities would a good cop have? I'd be willing to bet money that his idea of a good cop and my idea of a good cop are complete opposites of each other.
Caused a mass exodus of good police officers that are there for the right reason. They have started the indoctrination of your kids with critical race theory. Now they are supposed.
Critical race theory, using that as the new communism and the new socialism. Once again, just using buzzwords to freak his audience out. Indoctrination of your kids with critical race theory. What is he talking about? Kids never learned critical race theory. That's a college level subject. You don't teach that in elementary school. What is he fucking talking about?
Critical race theory. Now they are supposed to feel badly about themselves, specifically if they're white, not only feel badly about themselves and repent, but also join a force of evil to eradicate whiteness.
No, that's just a complete misrepresentation of what it is, but I don't even feel like dying on this hill, so I'm not going to.
Force of evil to eradicate whiteness completely. They have completely taken God out of everything. Now I saw in one state last night that they're trying to get rid of "In God We Trust."
Look, this guy is doing something called a Gish gallop. You guys ever heard of that? The Gish gallop is where you throw out just a billion arguments, as many as you possibly can, back to back to back. And when your debate opponent doesn't address one of the arguments because they only have a limited amount of time to respond, you say, I guess I won on that argument because you didn't respond to it. The Gish gallop is a sleazy way of winning an argument, and that's exactly what this guy is doing right now. But I'll tell you what. You know what? Let me reset my cameras. I'm going to reset my cameras. We're going to go through it. We're going to do this. Let's keep going.
Now I saw in one state last night that they're trying to get rid of "In God We Trust" on a...
No, nobody, there's no serious movement trying to do that. And even if there were, I would be in favor of it, first of all. Second of all, it wasn't added until the 1950s during this huge movement of patriotism. Because people were trying to fight the commies and fight China and fight Russia and all this other stuff. That's when it was added.
Oh, I saw in one state last night that they're trying to get rid of "In God We Trust" on a license plate in some state. I don't remember exactly what it is.
Well, maybe you should know before you come out here and say it. I have not heard anything about this. Maybe it's real. Cody Anglin, Mississippi is headed to federal court to fight a lawsuit from the American atheists who said it's against the law to force people in the state to have "In God We Trust" on license plates. There you go. Okay. So the guy, I guess, was telling the truth. Can you post a link to that on Discord for me if you have it available? I will put an editing marker in this clip with that information if I can find it. This guy isn't some tiny YouTuber. This guy isn't a nobody. This guy runs a full-blown TV show like Tucker Carlson. I mean, it's not as big as Carlson. I think he's like one of the biggest ones. But he's not nobody. He can't just come out here and just say random shit. Well, I guess he can. Come out here and say random shit with absolutely zero evidence to back him up. Outright lie to the audience. I guess he does have that ability. But he shouldn't, and he should be embarrassed that he's coming out here and doing this.
Exactly what it is. Although, be it is still on our currency, probably not for too long. And they have purged our military with this wokeness.
What is he talking about? Purged our military with this wokeness. What is this bizarre fucking obsession with the military and being woke? You know where all this started, actually? There was a propaganda video came out. It was released by Russia. Russia released this propaganda video to their country, trying to encourage their people to join the military. And in it, they mocked the U.S. military, saying that we were woke and weak and we were like women, you know, that all that stupid bullshit. And Ted Cruz actually like retweeted this clip from the Russian government, this propaganda to attack the U.S. Ted Cruz retweeted it and talked about it and encouraged it and spread it. And here is Stu Peters spreading it even more. What's wrong with these people, really?
Purged our military with this wokeness. So all of that has been done, and this was also amid an engineered, man-made, intentionally released virus.
No. Oh my God. No. We're going to hit every one of these points, aren't we? All right, let's hit it.
Also amid an engineered, man-made, intentionally released virus.
Okay, man-made, engineered, intentionally released virus. None of those things are true. None of that is true. There was a question as to whether or not it was a leak. It accidentally escaped from the lab. As far as I know, that's been debunked. I believe that they determined that that isn't what happened. That's not how it got out. But scientists have been studying the virus for a very long time and have determined there is no way that it was man-made. It is not a man-made virus. It has common markers showing basic evolutionary steps. This is how pandemics start. This is what happens. This is the world. Welcome to it. All of the things that he just said were lies.
Also amid an engineered, man-made, intentionally released virus from the lab in Wuhan, where we unapologetically said that it came from. You said it, I said it. We were liars, we were conspiracy theorists, we were tinfoil hats.
That's accurate. I'm sorry. I know you don't like that, but it's accurate. You're sitting here acting like you were vindicated. You were not. The things that you just said are not true.
We were tinfoil hats. It has now come true.
No, it has not. It has not come true.
Conspiracy theorists, we were tinfoil hats. It has now come true. And then the vaccine, was bioweapon 2.0, which is stronger than the ineffective virus that Fauci wanted to get his hands on. He has now developed this Delta version, whatever it is, they're going to...
They're saying, I'm sorry, is he saying that Fauci developed the original virus and then developed the vaccine personally and then developed the Delta variant? I'm not even sure what to say. Like, where is his evidence for, like, any of this? There is no evidence for anything he's saying here. He's just completely fabricating it based on a narrative. He hates somebody and wants to destroy them, so he's going to come out and lie and pretend that Fauci created the virus, the vaccine, and the Delta variant. This is fucking bizarre.
He has now developed this Delta version, whatever it is. They're going to only continue to get more and more deadly. And they have done it all simultaneously with little to no resistance whatsoever. That was a soft test. If the president of the United States, Donald Trump, doesn't come back within the next 60 days, I believe that we are looking at an extinction level event.
Wow, that is a big claim. If Trump doesn't come back in the next 60 days, we're looking at an extinction level event because Fauci personally ran a soft test with the virus by creating the virus himself personally to see if it would work, and it did. And now he's going to do the hard run, I guess. He's going to actually create another virus that's actually really damaging. I don't know where they're getting their information from or their ideas or any of that shit, but this is fucking strange. There's one more clip of Stu Peters I want to watch. Check this one out. This one just came out June 30th. Watch it.
I knew going into this that I would be scrutinized, that I'd be called a racist, that I'd be fact-checked.
And he's upset about that. I guess he's upset by being fact-checked. I don't get the impression that he really gives a shit if people call him racist. Currently, I haven't seen anything racist from the guy that I can remember at this moment, but he has the Trump cultist personality. Being a cult member, by definition, to some degree, means that you have a cult personality that has been programmed into you. He has the Trump cult personality. I can see it plain as day. All the shit that he says, all of the ideas that he's spreading, all the people that he demonizes. We just sat here and listened to him for like 30 minutes straight. He has the Trump personality. And in a lot of ways, racism is part of that personality because by necessity, the things that you're expected to believe as a member of the Trump cult, a lot of those things lead to damage in race relations. So I don't know if this guy is racist, but based on the fact that he has the cult personality programmed in clear as day, I would be surprised if he isn't.
I knew going into this that I would be scrutinized, that I'd be called a racist, that I'd be fact-checked, labeled a conspiracy theorist.
If the shoe fits, I'm sorry, the things that this guy said earlier were conspiracies. I don't know this guy's motivations. I don't know if he's a true believer or not. I don't know if he was mistaken or not, but I have to say, listing off a giant fucking list of What was it?
A injection that's causing documented miscarriages, abnormal vaginal bleeding. Menopausal women are reporting getting periods. Women are bleeding from their eyes. Teenage kids, for crying out loud, are dying of heart attacks.
Like, none of this even makes logical sense at all. If you understood anything about how the human body works, then you wouldn't believe this. You're a conspiracy theorist. I'm sorry you don't like that. If you don't like it, then don't be one. What else is there to say?
And that the slaves to Satan would no doubt come right after me. I don't let that bother me. I don't care about threats of violence. I don't care about censorship. I don't care about big money contracts. I don't care about bribery. Lawsuits and blatant coercion have been ineffective, and I come into this studio every single day with my shoulders rolled back, with my head held high, and ready to take it all on. My kid's future is worth it.
Here's that persecution complex rearing its ugly head. The guy is obsessed with being attacked. He has to be the underdog. He has to be hated. He has to be downtrodden for any of this to work for him. This persecution complex creates a sense of group loyalty. It creates camaraderie. It's like going to a therapy session, a group therapy session, with a bunch of other drug addicts, for example, and talking about the hard times that you had. It creates a sense of camaraderie and loyalty with each other, and that is what he's trying to exploit here. He is obsessed with being the victim of this situation, and he's completely fabricating a lot of the things that he has to say, like a lot of the conspiracies, a lot of the attacks that are coming at him or whatever else. Thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of people listen to this shit every single day and believe it.